Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Wuthering Waves and breaking down the Ultimate version 1.4 tier list. That's right, we're talking 3-star and 4-star characters, main DPS, sub DPS, and support. Whether you're building the perfect team or just curious about who's rocking the meta right now, this guide has you covered. Oh, and guess what? We update this list daily, so you're always getting the freshest rankings. You don't want to miss it. So grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's figure out which characters are worth investing your precious resources in. Are your favorites climbing the ranks, or did they take a tumble this patch? Don't worry, we'll spill all the details. And hey, don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think deserves to be at the top this time around? Let's get started. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Wuthering Waves. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Taoki, Aalto, and Yuhuhu. Alright, buckle up folks, because we're diving into the wild world of Wuthering Waves characters. The ones that have potential but might not make your jaw drop. Today it's all about those C-tier picks. They're like that friend who's fun to hang out with, but maybe not your first call when you're in a pinch. Let's get started with our first contender, Taoki. Now, Taoki is a bit of an oddball. This character's damage scales with defense, which sounds cool, right? But here's the kicker. Her playstyle is super passive. She's all about defensive counterattacks and a resonance liberation, which feels more like a chess game than an action RPG. That said, there's a silver lining. Her enhanced basic attack can generate shields for the whole team. Pair her with someone like Danjin and you've got a little defensive dream team, but, and it's a big but, she struggles to keep the momentum going when fighting smaller mobs, and her self-heals can feel underwhelming in tougher battles. A mixed bag for sure. Next, let's talk about Aalto, the stealthy DPS with clones. Honestly, this guy is fun. He can create mist with his basic attacks and resonance skills, and he moves like a ninja in stealth mode, making exploration in the open world a breeze. However, he's got a couple of weak spots. His damage output is decent against single targets, but lacks those spicy AoE attacks for crowd control. Plus, in high pressure fights, constantly repositioning him can feel like trying to juggle flaming swords. Cool concept, but maybe not the smoothest execution. And then we've got Yuhu, the poetic enigma. She's all about buffs and heals, which sounds amazing, but she's not exactly a game changer. Her big selling point is a 100% coordinated deepen buff for teammates. So if you've got a heavy hitter on your squad, she's a solid backup dancer. The downside? Her healing is just meh. And getting her concerto energy up feels slower than waiting for your favorite game update. It's like she's almost there, but not quite. So, what's the takeaway here? These C-tier characters aren't necessarily bad, they just require a little extra finesse to shine. Taoki can be a tanky lifesaver in the right setup. Aalto's stealth is great for sneaky strategies. And Yuhu, she's perfect for buffing your MVPs. But if you're looking to steamroll content without much hassle, you might want to aim higher. Let me know in the comments if you've managed to unlock their potential or if you're just benching them for now. Honestly, every team comp has room for creativity, so maybe you'll surprise us all with a killer strategy. Alright, that's it for today. Time to grind and find your favorites in Wuthering Waves. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Rover, Lingyang, Chixia, Yang, and Yuanwu. Alright, let's dive into some spicy details about the B tier characters in Wuthering Waves. These are the unsung heroes, the ones you might overlook at first, but could actually carry you through some tough spots if you give them a chance. Let's break it down, starting with our boy, Rover. Spoiler alert, this guy's got future potential written all over him. So, Rover, he's like that dependable friend who's not the best at karaoke, but absolutely nails trivia night. Right now, you can snag 4 free resonance chains for him, and with those, his damage output is surprisingly decent. Sure, he's no 5-star powerhouse, but compared to other 4 stars with fewer chains, this guy shines. Plus, his RES reduction effect at sequence 6 gives your team a nice little damage boost, perfect for F2P players who want to make the most out of limited resources. But hey, once you grab some high tier characters with maxed out resonance chains, Rover might end up benched. It's just the circle of life in gacha games. Next up, Lingyang. The elegant Glacio DPS with aerial moves that make you feel like you're piloting a fighter jet. When you unlock his Resonance Liberation, he turns into an absolute damage-dealing machine. His synergy with the Echo Lampalumen Myriad is Chef's Kiss. The downside? He's a bit of a diva. You need skill to play him well, especially in aerial combat, where avoiding damage is a challenge. Oh, and his balanced damage output means he struggles without someone to deepen Glacio DMG. But when you get the hang of him, Lingyang is a blast to play. And now let's talk Chixia, the queen of Boom Boom. If burst damage is your thing, Chixia is your girl. This 4-star character punches above her weight, especially if you've mastered the double boom boom technique. It's all about timing and precision, but once you nail it, the damage numbers are oh so satisfying. Be warned though, her resonance skill takes a while to pull off, leaving her wide open to enemy interruptions, so timing is key here. Bring her into battles where you can dictate the pace and she'll absolutely crush it. Moving on to Yang Yang. Poor Yang Yang. She's like that enthusiastic friend who tries really hard but just doesn't quite keep up. Sure, she's got decent crowd control with her Resonance Liberation, pulling enemies together for your team to smack around, but her damage? Meh. And her outro skill? Even more meh. She's fine for the early game shenanigans, but as your roster grows, she'll likely end up gathering dust. Still, props for trying, Yang Yang. Then we have Yuan Wu, the tanky Thunder King himself. Yuan Wu's gimmick is all about defense scaling and synergy attacks. He can summon a Thunder Wedge and even provide some shields for teammates if you stack up his resonance chains. That said, he's got some awkward trade-offs. His ability to deplete vibration strength is underwhelming, and his lightning-infused state feels like it's trying to do too much without really excelling. Still, if you like characters that can take a hit and keep going, Yuan Wu might be your guy. So what's the takeaway here? B-tier characters in Wuthering Waves aren't game changers, but they're far from useless. Each one has their quirks and shines in specific situations, whether it's Rover's utility, Lingyang's stylish moves, Chixia's bursts, Yang Yang's early game utility, or Yuan Wu's tanky presence. These characters can definitely hold their own with the right strategy. That said, if you're all about the meta and want to crush leaderboards, you'll probably outgrow most of these picks. But hey, every great hero starts somewhere, right? And sometimes, the road to glory begins with mastering those double boom booms or pulling off some aerial combat flair. So let me know in the comments, who's your go-to B-tier champ? Are you Team Rover for that sweet future-proofing, or are you all about the Lingyang aerial vibes? Smash that like button if you're enjoying the breakdown, and stick around because next up, we're talking about A-tier characters. Spoiler, they're a whole different story. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Jianxin, Calcharo, Danjin, Baiji, and Moteifi. Alright, let's cut the fluff. If you're diving into Wuthering Waves, you're here to crush it, not to waste time figuring out who's worth your investment. Today, we're breaking down the A-tier characters. These are the ones that can shine in the right hands but need a bit of finesse to fully unleash their potential. Let's go. First up, Jianxin. The king of support, but not without his quirks. This guy is your go-to for shields, healing, and even pulling enemies together like some kind of crowd control wizard. His resonance skill makes him immune to damage for a hot second, which is a lifesaver for players who are, let's say, still mastering the dodge button. But here's the catch. Jianxin's damage is, well, it's nothing to write home about. Great for newbies, a bit meh if you're looking for high-octane action. Next, let's talk Calcharo, the powerhouse that requires a bit of patience. His damage shines after activating Resonance Liberation and pairing him with Yinlin, Chef's Kiss. But Calcharo's attack animations can feel like you're wading through molasses. He hits hard, but getting there feels like a chore. And don't get me started on his Death Messenger animation. Beautiful, but it leaves him wide open. Pro tip, master character switching to keep him alive and kicking. And then there's Danjin, the ultimate glass cannon. If you want raw damage, this is your dude. He's a 4-star with damage output that can put some 5 stars to shame. The trade-off? His HP dips to a dangerous 1% every time he uses his resonance skill. Let me repeat that, 1%. Play him wrong and you'll be kissing the ground more times than you'd like. But if you can handle the stress, Danjin's smooth animations and relentless damage make him worth the gamble. Sliding into the support role, we've got Baiji. She's your healer extraordinaire, especially if Verena's already in your roster. While her healing numbers aren't as flashy, Baiji gets the job done and then some. Plus, her buff duration outshines Verena's by a solid 6 seconds. Small wins, people. Small wins. Just know that her attack buffs are single target and slightly underwhelming compared to Verena's splashy team-wide effects. Mortefi, on the other hand, is here to make synergy happen. He's like the ultimate wingman for high-frequency attack characters. His unique resonance skill lets you gather energy like a pro, which is perfect for fueling those big, game-changing ultimates. The downside? Synergy attacks have a pesky cooldown, so you might feel like you're not getting the full bang for your buck in faster-paced fights. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Each of these characters brings something special to the table, but they also come with some baggage. Jiangxin's shields and heals might feel redundant if you already have a dedicated healer. Kalchara's stiff animations, not exactly a dream in high-pressure battles. And Danjin's paper-thin survivability, that's a heart attack waiting to happen. But don't let those quirks scare you off. A-tier characters are all about understanding their flow and playing to their strengths. Pair Kalcharo with the right support, and suddenly he's a damage-dealing beast. Use Jiang Xin in a team without a healer, and his utility skyrockets. It's all about finding that perfect synergy. So, what's the verdict? A-tier characters in Wuthering Waves are like puzzle pieces. They're not plug and play, but once you fit them into the right team or comp, they can make a huge impact. It's a bit like cooking. If you don't know how to season, don't expect a Michelin star dish. And there you have it. Whether you're shielding your squad, melting enemies, or juggling both, these A-tier picks can absolutely carry their weight if you're willing to invest the time to master them. So, who's making it onto your roster? Let me know down below, and as always, happy gaming! The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Verena, Rover Havoc, Zhangli Yao, Jeji, Changli, Yinlin, Encore, and Sanhua. Alright, let's dive right into the good stuff, shall we? Because when it comes to Wuthering Waves, we're not just talking about characters. You know, the ones who just look cool and swing their swords. Oh no, these S-tier legends redefine what it means to dominate the battlefield. Buckle up, it's about to get intense. First up, let's talk about Verena. After her buffs in the OBT, yes, we're still recovering from the CBT3 days, she's become an absolute must-have. Her healing is next level, surpassing Baiji in both efficiency and speed. Plus, with her photosynthesis energy giving her a massive concerto energy boost, she spends less time on the field and more time making your DPS look like rock stars. Oh, and did I mention her 20% team-wide ATK buff? Yeah, Verena doesn't just heal, she carries. Now, let's shift gears to Rover Havoc. This guy is a beast for F2P players, and I mean beast. Sure, his stats are slightly lower than 5 stars, but his skill multipliers and Dark Surge form more than make up for it. He can deal ridiculous single target damage while keeping some solid AoE for crowd control. And if you're quick with his dodge mechanics, you'll feel like a pro every time you cancel those low multiplier attacks. Oh, and you can't ignore Zhangli Yao, the Liberation Wizard. He's got this incredible system where his enhanced resonance skills and mid-air attacks turn him into a walking fireworks show. His ultimate skill even slows enemies down, which makes him a survival genius. Sure, his DPS isn't Jian level, but hey, he's free. For what he brings to the table, that's a pretty sweet deal. Speaking of game changers, let's talk Jeji. She's the queen of coordinated attacks even when she's chilling off the field, and her buffs? Absolute gold for any DPS team. If you're all about Glacio and resonance skill damage, she's your go-to. Just don't expect her to carry the damage leaderboard herself. She's more of a strategic mastermind than a frontline slugger. And for all you support lovers out there, enter Changli. This fiery fighter brings some rare buffs like Fusion and Liberation DMG Deepen that are perfect for specific teammates. Her damage is pretty spicy too, for a support. The only downside? Not many characters can fully capitalize on those buffs yet, but when they do, watch out. Yinlin, on the other hand, is a dream for electro-focused teams. Her dual-type outro skill buffs are incredibly versatile, making her an easy pick for both DPS and support. Sure, her damage might not break records, but she's so simple to use that you'll find yourself slotting her in more often than you'd think. Now, let's rave about Encore, a fusion DPS powerhouse. Once she hits Resonance Liberation, it's game on. Her basic attacks pack a punch and her dodges feel smooth, keeping your rhythm intact even when the fight gets chaotic. But fair warning, if your enemies are slippery or uncontrolled, her outro skill might miss the mark. And finally, there's Sanhua, the rhythm gamer's dream character. With her crazy fast energy acquisition, she's the ultimate support. Sanhua can charge Concerto energy in just 3 seconds, blink, and she's ready to launch your main DPS into the spotlight. Her time-stopping mechanics and team versatility make her a fan favorite, but timing those heavy attacks can be tricky. So whether you're all about smashing enemies with insane DPS or setting your team up for the ultimate combo, these S-tier champs have got your back. Just remember, success in Wuthering Waves isn't just about raw damage, it's about synergy, strategy, and maybe a little bit of luck. Now go out there and show those enemies who's boss. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shorekeeper, Jiyan, Jinxie, and Camellia. Here we are again, diving deep into the chaotic beauty that is Wuthering Waves, where every character feels like they're auditioning for the lead role in an anime you wish existed. Today, let's talk about the absolute monsters in the S+ tier. You know, the ones who make you question if the devs were feeling generous or just plain forgot how balance works. Let's break it down. First up, Shorekeeper, aka your team's personal life coach and emergency medic. This isn't just a healer, it's a miracle worker. Shorekeeper juggles massive critical rate and damage buffs with healing that feels like being wrapped in a warm blanket during a thunderstorm. Oh, and damage amplification for the whole squad that doesn't disappear when you swap out. Insane. Plus, if you kit them out with the rejuvenating glow set, they're unstoppable. The only catch? They're a bit clingy with their weapon choice, really wanting one with concerto energy generation. Oh, and their Tower of Adversity starts can be a bit slow, depending on your lineup. But hey, we all have our quirks, right? Next on the list is Jiyan, the Aero Damage Maestro. It's all about fast switching and absolute carnage during their liberation period. The Lance of Qinglong's skill? Pure poetry in motion. It slices, it dices, and it CCs small enemies like it's nobody's business. Pair them with Morphetti and they'll wipe out entire enemy waves before you can blink. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jiyan's intro skill dependency is their Achilles heel, especially in one-on-one battles. And without energy regen, charging can feel like waiting for toast to brown. Painfully slow. But if you master those fast switch techniques, you'll feel like a combat god. Now, let's talk Jinxie, who's so good it's almost suspicious. Her incarnation state is like flipping a switch from meh to destroy everything in sight. Her enhanced skill hits harder than your regrets, and her synergy with coordinated attack teammates? Chef's kiss. Honestly, I've been sitting here trying to come up with a con for Jinxie and, well, there's nothing. She's perfect. It's like the devs made her and said, you know what? Let's just break the game a little. And how could we forget Camellia, our spin to win queen? This girl doesn't play, she dominates. Massive AoE damage? Check. Simple mechanics that make you feel like a pro after 10 minutes? Double check. She even laughs in the face of enemy interruptions, spinning gracefully like a ballerina on a caffeine high. But let's be real, mobility isn't her strong suit, and channeled abilities can feel clunky against zippy enemies. Oh, and don't even think about missing part of her rotation. Her concerto energy generation will tank, and you'll find yourself scrambling. Still, when she's on, she's on. These characters don't just fill a role, they own the battlefield. They're flexible, powerful, and in some cases, looking at you, Jinxie, borderline unfair. But isn't that the charm of S+ tier? They make us feel invincible, like we could take on the world, or at least the Tower of Adversity, without breaking a sweat. So, what do you think? Are you a Shorekeeper main who loves playing the team's MVP? A Jiyan fan who thrives on speed and precision? Or maybe you're living your best life with Jinxie, laughing in the face of balance? Let me know in the comments, let's get the discussion rolling. And hey, if you're a Camellia player, spin to win, baby, spin to win. Alright, that's it for now, but trust me, there's more to come. You don't want to miss what's next because, spoiler alert, it's going to blow your mind. Until then, keep conquering and stay awesome! The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.